Welcome to today, Thursday. I'm glad you could make it. I'm going to ask if Ashley would be kind enough and maybe Buffy and Letiza and Angela to look at Facebook every once in a while and bring messages over. I know you do it anyway, but thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
You're
Sure.
welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So Letiza, do you want to say what we're going to be looking at in terms of colors?
Yes, today we are talking about the new another set of half pant set. So you will discover the Earth set, Desert to Mountain, and so it includes the Buff Titanium here, the Raw Sienna Light, the Bronzite Genuine. This is the only Primatech there is inside. The Venetia Red, Burnt Sienna Light, and Lunar Black. So they are all granulating colors. I can show you, Giovanni left me a paper because now he's seeing a concert. So he did a thing with the Venetia Red as first. He did a mold background with the sponge. And then layer after layer, he added the Venetia Red until he reached the 5 cent. But this is very shiny. You can do a ratty effect with this. Then he did a tree and the marble effect with the Venetia Red, a bit of Lunar Black, and a bit of Cascade Green. And then again another texture. So he can do many texture with this color. Venetia Red is very important for him. Then he did the sequence about the first layer of Venetia Red, and then he added the Buff Titanium. And on the contrary, on the opposite, before the first layer is the Buff Titanium, and then adding the Venetia Red. Me, I created another thing that is a tennis court, because this week there was the Roland Garros competition by Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. And I did a Venetia Red, burnt Sienna Light here as a ground, and the Buff Titanium cross, then a Lunar Black for the shadow, and the Buff Titanium first layer, and the ball is covered with the interference gold. That's it. Just an idea on how you can use these elements. So this is our palette. So that is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Next, we're gonna have
I think I'm
Sylvia.
making something, and we will see. See you and Sylvia. Go, Sylvia.
Okay. Hello, John. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Sylvia.
I choose burnt sienna light and lunar black. I love these colors because of their transparency. Both of them are. This one is non-granulating, and lunar black, everybody knows it's very granulated. So I tried here first burnt sienna light, and I will paint a layer of lunar black on top. So we can see the reaction of these two beautiful colors. I love this. When I paint with lunar black, I can still see burnt sienna light in the background. So I think this is very interesting when we are painting urban landscapes, walls, old walls. It's an amazing texture. Now I'm using a hot pressed paper, and the difference here when I apply the second layer or the top layer on top of lunar black, the burnt sienna light. So I think, yeah, we can see the difference. Here it's a little bit darker, and here it's not. So it's amazing how the textures appear and one color shows the others. I think they interact very well. So I played also mixing here in the palette. So it's another result, which I think is very interesting for old walls, houses, urban landscapes. If we dilute it, it's this is not, this is a cold pressed, so it's a little bit different, but it's very interesting, the tones that we can get. And when it's dry, I don't know if it is, but one color shows the others, like here, but they interact very well. And then I played a little bit with the two colors. And on a dry surface, on a wet surface, and the result is I love it. It's very good to play with these colors, and that's it.
Very
Thank you
nice.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Up next, we're gonna have Ashley.
Hello. I love this because we have 6 colors and there's a whole bunch of us and we're all going to show it so differently. So it's really fun to see how we can take these colors and do so many different things with it. So the 2 colors that I'm going to focus on today, as you can see, are Venetian Red and Buff Titanium. And what I love about mixing these two is the pink ranges you can get. So it creates, as you can see, from Venetian Red to Buff Titanium, you get this beautiful pink range. So, and I will say Venetian Red is pretty, I want to say it's on the opaque side. Is that, I don't know, John, is that one of the opaques? I should know this, guys. That's embarrassing.
Now I think Venetian red is semi.
Semi-transparent. But yeah, you can really, I mean, look at this. This is pretty much mass tone. It's really intense. So if you're looking for a soft pink, you mix those two together and it's just lovely. And because this set is called Earth, Desert to Mountains, I was thinking desert. So I was playing around with creating kind of a monochromatic, I don't know, desert range. I was thinking it needed some footprints. I was going to grab some of this lunar black and make some footprints in the sand. Somebody needs to have been here. You know what I mean? There you go. Now we've got footprints. Very cool. I don't use Buff Titanium very much, and I'll tell you why. I tend to lean on it too much because it is it's such a beautiful, almost like an opaque type color. And so I tend to want to like use it to cheat instead of leaving highlights. But when you use it as like maybe a first layer, or if you need to look at this, I mean, very watered down, you get these really soft colors. And that's pretty much it from me.
Awesome. You're
Thank you.
correct. Venetian red is opaque. It's the Italian Venetian that's semi-transparent.
Okay.
Good
I
job.
thought so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, Praful, we're ready.
Oh, I'm just showing my work just now. Started.
Wow.
2 colors I use. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, John.
Oh, you're
One is
welcome.
black macron and raw sienna. There's 2 colors, great colors. You can see
It's
this. Africa.
beautiful.
Thank you. Can you see this?
Yep.
I love
Yes.
this combination. Thank you very much. Go to next one. Thanks, Letty.
Everybody, John, just want to mention everybody's really doing very well with timekeeping.
Very, very well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so I think we could have more, so we could go back to each of the brand ambassadors in a little while. So up next, we're gonna call on Angela, and I think Angela will be more than happy to show a little bit more about her artwork on her desk. Angela, you have more time.
Can you see? I think I
Okay.
have to move it to the right.
Oh,
But-
that's nice.
It's Angela.
Very nice.
Very nice, Angela.
Good one.
All the nice effects of lunar, Angela. I love them.
What colors are you using? I think you're mute, Angela.
Thank you. Sorry, I was talking by myself.
Oh.
Yes, I was replying to
Beautiful.
Beznik and everyone. Listen, I said that I trespassed the two color thing, and I went on to do 4 because I love them so much. This is a real desert color. You know, this is my colors are a burnt sienna light and raw sienna light. So this raw sienna light is so light that look at the atmosphere it creates here. It's very, very atmospheric. If you like to create, like for me, it was like an evening, you know, at the end of the day, sunset, and then the red of the sun setting underneath. But then this is like a beach, the beach waves, and here was supposed to be the sand, but the rocks and the water took the sand away. So this is buff titanium. And here is the lunar black. Can you see the lunar black? Here? At the bottom, right? So
That's
this
very
would,
nice.
this would be the rocks. It always, I'm sorry, but it reminds me a lot of Iceland because I may be lucky enough to go this year, finally. So I have to prepare my mind and my hand. So this would be like one of the, here we also have volcanic beaches. So this would be volcanic rocks. Here's the sable of the beach. This is buff titanium, sorry, buff titanium here. Very light, and it helps granulate. Here, there's also a little bit of buff titanium. Don't know if you can see it. Can you see the color?
Yeah.
Mixed little bit. It mixed with these, with the burnt sienna light. It is a beautiful, gorgeous color, very rich. So the mix here is buff titanium. Not Venetian red, sorry. Burnt sienna light and raw sienna light. So these 3 colors, beautiful, beautiful combination. And the black, of course, lunar black will make all of them go together and create beautiful granulations and effects. Here, I think it's like either, you know, those fish that fly. I don't remember the names, but it could be something like that in the middle of the sea. And here I tried to do another, but this is just at the early stages. So I could continue with that unless there is a request for me to do something totally different. But I thought,
Is this hot press paper, Angela?
yes,
Awesome. And the one before it as well?
yes, yes.
Magic.
Different sizes, but they help so much with the creating of granulation. Here the lunar black took over, and I don't know if I like that. I was doing something else and I got distracted, so it took over. But I can try to recover it and applying more of this raw sienna light. It is a very respectful. It doesn't like to invade, but I think that with the quinacridone, sorry, the burnt sienna light, it will help both of them. So shall I try? Shall I do more?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So what brush shall I use? I shall use a brush that is not dirty with, oh yes, I can use my favorite, this one. You know this one? This one is the rigger. But it had some lunar black. But now I will use it with forgive me because today I had the workshop with Hunsung. It was his first day. It was a bit of a tough day. Not tough, but hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very good, but a lot of work. Anyway, so here, this time, I will mix the raw sienna light and the burnt sienna light. I love the color of the burnt sienna. Let's see if it can cover. Did you see that I wetted the page again? It's important when it is dry and you want to do this dark, so you want to build on it, that you wet it again. But now, the most important one, I want to be the raw sienna light. Come here, little one, come here. And buff titanium will help you. Because it's also powerful. Look how powerful it is. On a bed of, remember that we are on a bed of lunar black. Now I'm taking some buff titanium, one of my favorite colors too. Because it can invade another color, it can push him to move away. That's what I want with this lunar black. Put some more buff titanium. And then we will see what happens. Then I will wet the page very much and throw some lunar black. It's an experiment. I cannot guarantee the result, but bear with me. Look how thick the color. Color is very, very thick. It's almost straight from the tube. But now, this one was jealous, so I had to give him some important too. I don't know, it will either be a mess or a masterpiece. And,
Looks nice still now.
would you mix Venetian red that I have here? Too much, maybe. No, I will use water and lunar black. A lot of water and lunar black.
Angela, I think your next book title should be From Messes to Masterpieces.
Uh-huh.
So it's a working title.
What was the title again?
From Messes to Masterpieces.
Messes to Masterpieces. I like that. You can be the editor, of course.
It's almost like Bob Ross's Happy Accidents.
Yeah. Look. Now at least it's not like weeping, strong, it's crying. I think this is not the right brush. Actually, no, it's not. This is the right brush to do that. And now guess what? Tell me what I have to do. Who guesses?
Dip it up sideways and let it run everywhere.
Yeah. Put it vertical or sideways or whatever. And let the mess or the magic happen. Oh, sorry. You cannot see.
And you don't see the true magic till it's actually dry.
You cannot see the upper part, right? Okay.
Angela, your work always has such a wonderful energy about it, both the way it looks and the way that it feels. And I think that comes from you.
Oh, thank you. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's true.
Angela, you have a lot of wonderful comments in the Facebook section.
Really?
Kathleen shares, perfect way for me to finish my current painting, Angela. Wow, 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 wow. And Connie says, a moody, stormy seascape.
That is true. That reminds me of a stormy, moody seascape. Yeah. So this is the thing that you have to keep it now. You have to hold it and keep it, or you can turn it. I don't know if I water it a little bit, spray.
Angela, Nicholas Lopez is in the chat on Facebook, and all he put was a smiley face.
Really?
Very telling.
Thank you, Nico. I don't know what he means though. Might be laughing.
Because you're using his favorite color.
Oh yes, yes. It was actually, this color was so good and other people had discovered it, but he really took it to the next level. Don't you think so? But without, only in monochrome. Oh, how about this?
It's
Not
like
bad.
it's you and Nicholas and all these different artists that show us what's possible with these pigments and push it beyond kind of what we think of as watercolor.
Yeah, that is true. You have to go beyond. Otherwise, you will never discover what will happen. Sorry for
That's great.
Sorry for the reflections, but here we have these stormy waves, and here whatever the sun or the sea can do. Okay, let's see what happens when it's dry. Okay,
Looking forward to that.
thank you so much.
Next week we're
Beautiful,
gonna have
Angela. Bravo.
Beznik.
Hi. Hello, everyone. So it happened we chose the same colors, me and Angela.
Oh,
I also gonna do some tests with lunar black and burnt sienna light. In the meantime, I did this too. I mixed the burnt sienna light here by itself, and I just added tallow yellow green. In here, I played with lunar black, and as you can see, it's burnt sienna light, and I added also tallow yellow green. And from mixing, it came this beautiful color. It reminds me a little bit of quinacridone gold. So in this other part of paper, I will do another mixes. Everyone has seen how a lunar black reacts. Let's see what will happen with tonight's tests here. I'm gonna wet the paper. As always, I'm using Bauhaus paper. I'm wetting with this brush and just pure lunar lunar black. I am doing viscosity of macchiato.
Macchiato
Well,
is coffee with milk, right?
yes. So I love this. I love the shape of that. Lunar black. Use the gravity to make more granulation. Let's see how it will come. I'm sure, because every time when we use lunar black, some magic happens. Here I will play with burnt sienna light on bottom. Yellow, yellow, green.
What yellow green is it? Is the green gold?
The yellow, yellow, green.
Ah,
It's very flashy. I love to add these flashy colors when I'm using some neutral colors. So I thought it's going to be more organic mix. I'll leave it dry. In this bigger part of paper, I will play again with 3 colors. And in here, I will add, after it gets dry, I'm not going to use hair dryer. I will play with some branches as a tree and a little bit more expressive dry brush stroke after it gets dry by itself. So again, here I'm gonna use another brush, a little bit bigger brush, to wet the paper, and then we'll play with lunar black. I will wet just the top a little bit, and bottom I will leave it more dry to have more dry brush effect. How many minutes we have tonight each? How many minutes we have?
oof, you have many minutes.
We have more. You can have another 5 minutes, Beznik. We have plenty of time.
Great. Okay, I love these shapes. The first layer.
Wow. So it's combined dry and wet.
Yeah, I said I will leave this dry. This was wet. A little bit here dry. I wetted only this part of paper, and now I have this effect of on bottom. I mixed a little bit of lunar black with burnt sienna light.
Beznik, may I read what Nico said on Facebook about Lunar Black?
Yeah, of course.
He said, I think the black polka dot sums up the use of color and emphasizes the movement and freedom of water that we sorely need. It's not about mastering the water, it's about flowing with it.
Yeah, true. True. This is very magical. Everyone says it's a magical color, and you can use it in many ways, like leaving the water by itself to do the magic, or by a brush, even by sticks. I always also draw and paint with sticks using only lunar black. So it's very magical, and really thanks to John for bringing us this beautiful color. It's one of the favorite of each one of us. So in here, as we know, I'm adding more of pigment of lunar black, and I will use the gravity to have more granulation here. This part. Dipping more water. So now I will need more time to play with gravity, and with more time to have, we can pass another brand ambassador, and then we can see what will happen, what beautiful reaction will come here. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, John.
You're very welcome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Next, we have Buffy.
Oh, hi guys. Hello.
Welcome.
This is pretty sloppy, guys, but I didn't really know what I was going to paint. And then I saw Sylvia's, and her flower and stem work reminded me of this colors here. So I thought, oh, so real sloppy. I just squirted a bunch of Daniel Smith masking fluid on and shaped with my finger some flower stems inspired by some cherry blossoms. And yeah, so let's see what happens. Since Nicholas is on, have you done flowers before, Nicholas? I would be curious to see them if you have.
I'm
And
not sure. He might have done once.
that would be fun to see how
He's done
he
animals, he's done people. About flowers.
So let's see. So I'll pour mine. As you guys know, I do a lot of pouring. So this is the Bronzite Genuine, and it's one of the colors on my dot card because it's not only granulating, but it also has some shimmer. Why don't I just pour that on there? Oh, look at how beautiful already.
Lovely.
And then the next color is going to be Raw Sienna Light, which is another color on my dot card. To me, it's the perfect wheat colored, the grasses that grow in California on our hillsides were only green for a minute and then it turns to this beautiful yellow color. And then Ashley's sharing about the Venetian red. I thought, well, let's do a little bit of that. That was exciting. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of water, just pure water. And since my flower stem is right here, I'm going to put a little extra there so we could put the exciting color. Look at how it sets up in the ramekin. Ooh, well, I must stir it. Got to give it full activation.
Lunar black?
Yes, lunar black.
Wow.
And I'm on bohong paper. I don't know how to pronounce it. So it's full of texture. And then we'll see how these colors work out. And later on, I'll pull the masking fluid off and paint the flowers. Oh my goodness. It looks like
Gorgeous.
somebody's messy kitchen right now.
Gorgeous.
I'm a crazy cook in here, cooking up a watercolor pour for you guys. I'm going to give it
Is that
little bit.
hot pressed?
Let me see. It is. the cold press.
Okay.
Cold press. And it has, I feel like this brand though, the cold press of the Bohang is similar to the rough press of other companies. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, one side especially, but the back is smoother. One side is more rough. Yeah.
So I'm just going to move this around. The main thing was having enough color behind the flowers, so then when I paint the flowers, it'll have all of this beautiful granulation, excitement. With pores, I often like to go on a diagonal because I feel like that's more organic looking. Oh my gosh, look at that, guys. I wasn't even going to share today, but all afternoon I was thinking, well, what could I do with these colors? Oh, wow.
I love your pouring technique.
Look at it, you guys, look at that. All the granulating goodness, look at that. Very, very pretty. And then you could also, while your watercolor pour is kind of setting up, you can take some color in your pipette and then squirt it out and then do a couple little extras. And I can't think of a better word for it, so I call it spitting. But if you guys can think of a better, it's not really splattering because you're kind of squirting it out. And I'll do a little bit of the black as well. Thank you for letting me share, guys. I can't wait for this to finish setting up and then to paint the little flowers.
So do you have to dry it now?
Yeah, I would dry it completely because it has to be all dry in order to get the masking fluid off.
But I mean,
So I
can
would
you
dry
do it
it.
with a hair dryer?
You could dry it with the hair dryer if, best case scenario, I think personally, is if you let it dry naturally because the painting will just continue to develop, like an old Polaroid picture, right? It just keeps developing the longer you let it sit. And I feel like the colors are just a little more pure if you let it dry naturally. But for this, since we have time, I can dry this and then maybe at the end we'll see how far I've gotten with it.
I have a question. And also, wouldn't it affect the masking fluid, the hair dryer?
So yes, like the brand, the manufacturers will often tell you to never dry the masking fluid because the risk would be that it could glue, basically like adhere and glue to the paper and it might rip it. So, but I've done it for years and the main thing is not holding the heat right on it for a long time, kind of just sweeping back and forth with it at a distance. But you do run the risk. You have a risk of it setting up. What would you say, John, about that in regards to Daniel Smith specifically?
I think you were right when you were saying best case would be you let it dry naturally. But then as artists, I think, you always need to experiment. Definitely you don't want to put it on wet paper because it'll grab and the hairs off your paper and rip them off.
Yeah.
So if you can wait, that's best. But if not, it's trial and error.
Yeah, I agree. But we'll find out, right? We're going to find out on this one. We're testing it live, bringing it live to you, John.
That looks really cool right now. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it has a nice passage where the flowers are. So thank you for letting me share, guys.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you for sharing.
And I have to be really hungry because when I look at Beznik's on the left-hand side, I see hamburgers.
Oh, wow.
I'm just
Oh my God.
hungry.
You are hungry.
I'm hungry.
Of course.
Next, John, you have Caroline.
Awesome.
Caroline, stop. Come there.
Sorry, I'm thinking I've got my old laptop, and now I've got double voice again.
What's an echo?
Give me one moment. I will just
turn it off.
Hello, try again.
Both
Now
of your
you're
audio
muted.
are now off.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Don't have a double voice. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and it's lovely to be back with you all. I've been traveling, as you know, and then came home and had the flu, and then got super busy. So lovely to be back with you all again today. I've got interesting ways that I like to explore colour when it's new to me, or colour that I don't use often, or a colour I'd like to introduce to my students so that they can see it in different ways. And to do simply just colour selections, being the pure colour or the mixtures of colours, is one way of seeing it. But I think you truly don't see a colour till you've painted a picture of some sort. So when I do some kind of swatching, I always try to look at it in different ways of how I can see that colour. So the colours I've chosen today from this set have been Venetian red and lunar black. I love Venetian red, but I don't use it that often because of the style of artwork that I do. I do, however, have lunar black on my dot card, and I go to it frequently as a granulating additive to many colours, or a deep dark that is slightly, it has a slight transparency because of the nature of the way the particles sit on the page. You can see that here. This is just pure lunar black, just swatched out, and you can see the breaks and the light and things like that. So it's almost like a transparent black, which is why I like it in my set. Looking at Venetian red, it's almost an opaque colour. Not quite, but it has a beautiful, I don't know, it has a beautiful sediment sort of quality to it. And it does really remind me of the beautiful stucco walls in Venice. And I've only just been in that region and can really relate to that colour on the walls in that area. I also like to test transition colours. So taking it from Venetian red right through to lunar black and the other way around is actually slowly transitioning the colour from one to the other. So you can see all the colours in between of how they work together as a mix. So these are mixed on palette colour, whereas this particular one over here is actually mixed on paper colour. So you can see how they behave differently on palette and on paper. And so I like, this is like a test page of how I see these two colours, and gives me these visual interpretations to see what I can do and where I can push the style of it. Painting a simple wash of Venetian red in the background and then doing a lunar black painting over the top, I suppose, and slightly damp, so it allowed the bleed of the lunar black into the Venetian red. And that gives you sort of one vision of what you could do with the painting. As I said, this one I had the Venetian red and then painted the lunar black over on the page whilst they're damp, and then splashed a little bit of water. So you can see that beautiful granular breakup that's coming through. And that's another effect that I find quite fascinating and interesting, and something that you can't paint with a brush. The idea that the water's doing the work and the granulating paint does some of the work for you is what I'm chasing here. We can't all assume that you can get these effects naturally. So we lean to these beautiful products with these extra special effects to give us those beautiful textures. I like to do a dry brush to see how it drags out and see how it behaves as a drag out. I've got one over here still drying, and I want to see how lots of lunar black with lots of water and then just let it dry naturally, what happens to it. And it will slowly granulate as the water evaporates out of that page. So quite fascinating. But one of the big things I like to test, because I'm a glazing artist and I like to bring light back to work and show students how to do that, I like to see if it has a lifting quality and how much it stains the page. And I use a little brush. This particular one is a EO eraser. I know Rosemary Brushes do one that's called the Eradicator, which is quite popular in my studio. But it's quite a stiff bristled little brush, so you can actually lift light back out of a painting. So I like to see how well it lifts out and how much light I can bring back to my seed pod here, for example. And I can see it lifts beautifully. You can see I can literally put the light back in to the artwork. And if I know a product will do that for me, I will go, yes, it's in my tick list. I will use that probably quite often. So you can see what I've done is add all of that light to the seed pod right through. So this one is a winner for me, definitely. It's a combination of the Venetian red and the lunar black when I painted the little seed pod, and I painted it quite quickly and heavy so that I could sort of test these parameters of what it's going to do and what it's going to behave like when I try to lift, etc., out of it. So I really, really enjoy the testing of colours. But a sheet like this I would put in my folio, and I have lots of different test sheets and colour swatching that I do, and that then adds to the story of when I'm looking for something different, and we go by different moments and different subject matter that we're painting, and you're looking for something that's going to pop with that new subject that you come up with. And having lots of swatch pages like this helps me find that quickly. Whereas if I just walked over to your tube saying, oh, I'm going to use those 2 tubes, it's hard to understand in your head what they're going to do for you. But if you have a swatch page, it does help you flick through your swatch book and find the colours that you are desiring because you've already tested them. So highly recommend just swatching, and swatching with images, swatching with variations of colour, swatching in pure colour, and swatching dry and wet and all those sort of things. So you can see on one page how the paint behaves in different circumstances. So that's my recommendations when you're swatching and testing colour.
That is wonderful, Caroline.
You're
Carolyn,
welcome.
what paper are you using, Carolyn?
I'm only using a student quality brand of, it is a Montville paper, which a lot of people go, oh, yuck, oh, that's awful, all those sort of things. But having tested many, many different student quality papers over the years, I keep coming back to this one because it holds up for me in a classroom. And in my classes, I provide all the paper, and I want everybody to consistently learn the same thing. And as they get their confidence up and their skill up, then I start recommending all the different other papers once they understand the basics of watercolour. So it's a really base grounding paper for me in a teaching classroom as a class quality paper. And also it's a nice introduction point for those that are just starting with watercolour to not feel so overwhelmed by the cost of their paper, and therefore avoid trialing and testing and all those things that we do when we've got expensive paper.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And today, John
Wonderful,
and friends, sorry. Welcome, Brenda.
Hi. When I showed up this afternoon, I was asked if I would share about one of my favorite colors of that selection, and I chose lunar black. So what I'm going to do, since I don't have an overhead camera here for me, I have a screen share I want to do, and I was told that Ethel would let me in. So
Sure, let me enable that. Okay, you may now share.
I may now share. So can you see what's up here right now?
Not yet.
You'll have to click the little green share button at the bottom of Zoom.
I did.
Okay.
Okay, and there we go. And desktop. Okay, very good. And if I can pull this up, we're going to hit allow. And
awesome.
And can you see where my swatch is up here right now?
We can see it.
Great. Okay, so right off the bat, I just want to talk about the reason I love lunar black. Number one is that it is a black that's transparent. So when you see it by itself and then you see it mixed in yellow, and yellow green gets contaminated really quick. What I love about the color is that you can see here the integrity of the color stays. So you have Quin Rose, you have a Phthalo Blue, and then you have, I think that's Quinacridone Burnt Orange, or Quin Sienna. And you can see that then you still see the purity of the color, but you can see the granulation happening. And I'm a predominantly a transparent painter, and so this really lends itself to what I do. So I'm going to take you through some of the paintings and you can see the diversity of it. One here is looking at these kettles. When you look down here on the bottom, how you can take a large passage and just by mixing lunar black in with the color, and this is French ultramarine, which happens to be very granulating. I love the texture that I'm seeing down here. And underneath, you can see this little swatch, how this is the yellow with no lunar black over it, how it's kind of relatively flat. You see little strips here. But with that lunar black mixed in the glaze, I love what it did here with the texture. So going from something that's metal, now look at fur. I mean, this is kind of cool when you look at this little guy.
So cute.
And you can just, using it very thinly, especially like right down here on the bottom and up through here, you can see in thin glazes, you can still get the granulation quality. And what I love about it is that I can mix it on the palette, or I can put it down as a glaze in any one of the levels of glazes, and you still have that granulation quality that's really shining on it. So here's fur in an animal. And then here is with a person, and looking up in his hair. Here I used it very thinly, but I love the granulation that I got in his kinky gray hair. It just was really stunning. And the thing that I like about lunar black is that with a painting that can have a lot of smooth transitions, like his shirt in his skin, when you have this level of granulation, all of a sudden that contrast of texture and surface that you're looking at becomes very exciting. So that's kind of one of the components I really like. Here's another person, still with the hair. Can you see it up through here? It's a little thicker. Love how it lays down. And as someone just mentioned, how it lifts very easily. So when I need to lift, I can. But I love this old miner, how the feel of this lunar black really added to the quality of his hat, his beard and hair coming down his face. Okay. Back to metal. This is a little bit of a smoother look. But when you look here in the fender, all the different colors that I used, I love the granulation that I'm seeing all through here. Lightly done, but still through a light glaze, I could pick up that granulation. And the contrast again between the smoothness of the flowers against the grittiness of the metal. I like the contrast of texture in paintings. Here's another example of the same thing, where you can have a glass that's an Italian mug, very smooth, but then you look at the pottery behind. And this was through maybe 3 or 4 glazes. Really loved how I was able to get the contrast of the smooth, the gritty in the center up here, in the center of the flowers, gritty in here, and then the smooth again. Lunar black is a color that's just a staple on my palette. I love it. Here you go, old trains. You can see how it's not, I don't use it for just landscapes or rocks or any of that. It's metal, it's hair, it's all sorts of textures that I love it. It's such a staple. Again, there isn't as much of it. You see more of it here than you do in the train, because the train it's further away, not as much detail, but lots of it, and negative painting here. And here's a good example of how I use it in grains. There's something about adding lunar black into the grains. It gives that almost feeling of shimmering, of leaves. They're not all one green from top to bottom. And you can see how it goes from the yellows into the blue greens. It's just even up through here, how I move it all the way through my paintings. So that's basically what I put together to share with you. And so should we now do stop share and we can go back to the regular, but it's Lunar Black is just gorgeous. I love the clarity of it and how well it mixes with other colors, and the other colors keep their color integrity in place, and you're just adding that textural component to the painting, which is to me just visually very exciting.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Brenda.
Love it.
Very nice.
So, Ethel, can we go back to Buffy one more time? Maybe the masking fluid has dried.
Okay, let's put Buffy there.
There we go.
I feel like this was one big commercial for Lunar Black. We all love it so much, and I love the variety, how everybody uses it so differently. It's amazing. So, but yeah, so the masking fluid came off successfully. It didn't rip the paper at all, and all the stem work is lifting, so it lifts back beautifully. And then a little later on, I'll finish painting all the little flowers. But what an interesting background, huh?
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
Wonderful.
So you can use, you know, if your paintings die, it's not my fault, but you can get away with it in a fix. So
Very nice.
It has a very nice dynamic and very nice flow of the flowers. Yeah.
It does.
yeah, thank you. I'm excited to see it when it's all done.
To share it.
Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful.
We can include everyone's frame here.
That would be great.
Carol's, Sylvia's, Ashley, Beznik's. Let's see. All in?
And how about
Yes.
Brenda? Is Brenda's there?
Well, I did it through a screen share, so I
Oh.
don't think you can, but yeah.
Can
Let's
we
have
see Praffles?
Raffles.
Yes.
There. All good now,
nice.
John.
God, I'm always amazed at what you can do with so few colors.
In this
Very
bigger
nice.
part, I did a little bit like a landscape.
Very nice.
Right.
And so different subjects.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
different subjects.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very
Yes,
nice.
thank you all very, very much. Thank you,
I knew
Caroline. Thank
that
you, Brenda.
black could be
Thank
so
you, Anna.
exciting.
Thank you, everybody.
So
inspiring.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Thanks,
Thank
Beznik.
you.
Thanks, Rappel. Thanks,
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
Ashley.
you, John. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.